Hey guys, how's it going? This time, once again, we'll be covering Manny Pacquiao, the old man who defeated Adrien Broner this past weekend. And so we're just going to jump right into it. Hope you enjoy the video. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is that Manny Pacquiao was moving towards the outside of Adrien Broner's lead foot a lot more than he usually does against his other orthodox opponents as of late. Notice how his lead foot is clearly on the outside of Broner's lead foot here in this picture. And of course, Pacquiao also mixed in moving towards the inside, but not nearly as much as you usually see him do against Juan Manuel Marquez. Notice how he likes to set up his offense by moving to the inside, and also he did this against Vargas. Now, there's plenty of reasons Manny would favor moving to the outside as opposed to moving to the inside, but it seemed clear that this was a tactical decision. For one, with Broner using the Philly shell defense, his stance is very side-on and closed off, meaning his stance is very sideways. And this is better for defense as you give away less exposure of your center line, but it also sacrifices offense as your right hand is further away, and you have to wind up to set up a left hook or get any leverage to throw a proper left hook. So with Broner already very side on for the majority of the time, it makes it much easier for Pacquiao to get onto the outside of Broner's lead shoulder and take the dominant outside angle, and from there he could stick at his right jab without getting countered. The most obvious reason, the conventional wisdom of moving to the outside angle in the southpaw versus orthodox matchup, is to neutralize your opponent's power hand. Since you're moving away from it, distance is your first line of defense, and it goes without saying that moving away from the orthodox fighter's right hand will make it very difficult for them to land it. And I've always felt that Adrien Broner's best weapon was his lead straight right hand that he always sneaks in, but because Pacquiao was moving to the outside, he was just never able to get it off. Now, it seemed that Pacquiao was very comfortable forcing Broner to fight with essentially one hand for the majority of the fight, and this also turned Broner in the process. Forcing your opponent to turn means you greatly reduce the opportunities they have to actually punch. Now, I know this is actually quite ironic since Broner already doesn't do much punching in the ring, but the fact that Manny turned Broner a lot is a big component of why Broner was averaging only 8 punches around. Now, that said, it seemed that Broner picked up on Manny's movements early in the fight and countered with a left hook whenever Manny tried to move to the outside behind the jab. He was actually quite successful with this early on. But of course, in the highest levels of boxing, you can't stick to the same thing and not expect your opponent to adapt. The fundamental knowledge of counterpunching is to counter on the same side that your opponent's punch is coming from, since their hand is too busy punching to block. But following the fundamentals at the highest level could lead to your downfall, because boxing is a tactical sport, so it's inevitable that a crafty veteran like Manny Pacquiao would soon shut this strategy down. And so Pacquiao would counter this by throwing a probing jab to bait out the counter left hook from Broner and then counter Broner's counter. And again, here Pacquiao shoots the jab at Broner, but maintains enough distance to be able to pull away from the counter left hook. You can see Pacquiao is mentally wearing down Broner with pressure, but very careful pressure. Then you see here he throws another jab at Broner, and this time there is no counter left hook. And this gives Pacquiao the indication to sneak in a real attack now that the counters aren't coming as frequent. So once again, Pacquiao throws a quick feint to test Broner. He notices that once again there is no counter and then quickly launches his attack. And I also mentioned that Pacquiao moved to the inside angle occasionally in this fight. I believe Pacquiao prefers to take his orthodox opponents to the inside angle as opposed to the outside, and he does this to set up his left hand since it brings his left hand closer to his opponents. Now watch here how Pacquiao has the outside angle as he steps behind the jab. Pacquiao tries to split Broner's probing jab with his straight left hand, but Broner does a good job of fading away from it. Now pay attention to Pacquiao's form on this counter attempt. His lead foot is on the outside of Broner's lead foot, and his head is off of the center line. So you see he essentially does this by slipping to the outside of the jab and shooting his straight left hand at the same time. We also see the rotation in the hips and the transfer of weight from his back foot to the front foot, giving the punch its power. And Pacquiao is one of the best southpaws at splitting the orthodox jab, but Broner does a good job of avoiding it here as well as throughout the fight. Pacquiao didn't split many of Broner's jabs in this fight. But watch here how Pacquiao switches from the outside angle to the inside angle behind a probing jab. Look here how he touches Broner's lead hand. He reaches out to touch the lead hand again here. You see there's no conviction in it. He's not trying to hit Broner with these probing jabs. He's setting up a trap. So you see this time he touches the lead hand again and steps to the inside of Broner's lead foot, establishing the inside angle. This time he's going to touch the lead hand again, and this acts as a bait to get Broner to try and counter with a straight right hand. You see, by taking the inside angle, he brings his head onto the center line and in danger of Broner's right hand. So this makes him an enticing target for the right hand, but that's exactly what he wants. He further manipulates Broner into throwing the right hand by pawing at his lead hand, prompting Broner to throw the punch. And you see here, having gotten the response he wanted, Pacquiao slips the right hand. He baited out, and this leaves Broner wide open for a counter left hand from Pacquiao. And by taking the inside angle, Pacquiao was able to set up his left hand, as he always does, after transitioning from the outside angle and counter punches the counter puncher. Truly brilliant boxing. Now, when it comes to the outside angle and inside angle, you might ask what's so wrong about Broner allowing Pacquiao to take the outside angle? Doesn't that mean Broner is essentially taking the inside angle in that case? And the answer to that is no. Broner allowing Pacquiao to take the dominant outside angle is not the same thing as Broner taking the inside angle. And that is because Pacquiao is the proactive fighter establishing the outside angle, and Broner is simply forced to be the reactive fighter. In order to establish the inside angle, Broner would have to proactively establish the angle the same way Pacquiao proactively does both for the inside angle and the outside angle. Now back to the outside angle that Pacquiao establishes here. Now when the southpaw constantly establishes this angle on you, it's very bad because, well, you're very open for the southpaw's left hand, and Broner has very little choice here but to panic duck to try to avoid the left hand. And he did that on multiple occasions throughout the fight very well, but in this instance, Pacquiao's very accurate left hand catches him while he's ducking, and it really rocks Broner quite badly this time. And let's watch what happens when Pacquiao catches Broner with the left hand. Here he establishes that outside angle behind the jab, catches Broner ducking at the waist, which stuns him really bad, catches him with another left hand, and now we watch him unleash this combination. Now from the inside angle, starts it off with the range fighting jab, left hook, right hook that also acts as a guard removal, left uppercut on the opening after peeling Broner's guard. Guard removal is something Lomachenko does a lot, but here Pacquiao pulls it off perfectly. Now watch Pacquiao slide over to the outside angle, completely changing the angle his punches will be coming from. And now Broner must adjust his position, otherwise he'll be in big trouble. Again, range fighting jab, sweeping left hook around Broner's high guard. Now the high guard is good for blocking punches coming straight at you, so this is good punch selection from Pacquiao to recognize that Broner is in the high guard. And with the left hook making Broner adjust his guard, Pacquiao shoots a right uppercut in the new opening down the middle. Pacquiao switches to the body, and now Broner has no idea how to defend against the onslaught, so he smartly holds on. And just some closing thoughts before I end the video here. I just want to say that Broner had his best moments in the early rounds when his game plan of countering Pacquiao's lead hand with his left hook and jab was working. While he did have some success in those early rounds, I'd still be hard-pressed to give some of those rounds to him, if any. We all know Broner doesn't let his hands go, but a large majority of that was due to Pacquiao's angular movement, taking Broner's right hand away. Manny Pacquiao has made many other fighters gun-shy due to him constantly seeking different angles of attack, as well as his highly active guard when he gets his rhythm going. The only proven way to keep Pacquiao at bay is to control him with the jab before he gets his rhythm going and finds his distance, because you'll be at the mercy of his endless arsenal of offensive tricks if you don't. However, Pacquiao has proven that establishing the jab on him is one of the hardest things to do, since he is one of the best southpaws to split the orthodox jab, and this is why Manny Pacquiao is still a dangerous fight for anyone at 147 pounds, even at 40 years old. Thank you everybody for watching. As always, if you like my content and want to see more, please click the red button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Thank you all for watching.